can any of these clowns in the Republican Party who are running for president actually win? Or is it still just the two-person race of Trump and DeSantis, which everyone has said it's been for like a year now?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't looked at the polling recently. I think like it's interesting to think about what lanes are emerging, like where is everyone trying to position themselves? Because one of the things we're really seeing is a resurgence of the like moderate Republican, the reasonable Republicans, while we
Mhm.
see a resurgence of like the Christian right. So these two like lanes that we used to really strongly associate with the Republican Party that were sort of like the hallmarks of Republican primaries are reemerging, and they're really like much more coherent ideologies. They have a lot less to do with the way like Donald Trump's calling it ideology is not right, but the way Donald Trump's like approach to politics has sort of suffused the Republican Party, and it's a very like traditional field really that's emerging. So you've got people like Chris Christie. I think Nikki Haley's probably going to be in the I'm a reasonable person lane. Tim Scott too, and then like Mike Pence is in. He's going to be hard in the like Christian right lane. So yeah, I mean they're all kind of pulling the same except DeSantis who's ahead. And then DeSantis is the guy who's really trying to grab the Trump mantle, right? Which is like I'm this erratic, like charismatic leader. I do, I go for the jugular. I find opponents and I take them down. And it's really
I
like
hate the
an interesting
media.
test. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like it's like yeah, right. The media is my enemy. Like I find enemies and I eliminate them. This sort of like, yeah, very personality based, very oppositional style of politics that actually does not have like a strong ideological thrust to it, except that the enemies all end up being, people of color, queer people, etc., because they're like, the targets that seem most content rich to these like right wingers. Um, and it's this interesting test of like, can you replicate Donald Trump politics without being Donald Trump? Is this a third viable lane that's emerging for the Republicans? Or is it just specific to Donald Trump? I mean, this has been eternally the question about him, right? Like, is that a new thing? Or is it just this one weird black swan thing and it's never coming back? So we'll see. I mean, so far, I don't know.
Yeah, and we may have to wait and see. We may not be able to know the answer to that until Trump is no longer the leader of the Republican Party and the key figure there, and obviously the leading presidential candidate. I mean, look at the polling. When was the first time he was indicted?
I can't even
Wasn't that
remember.
in March or April? I mean, that was like in
I
here.
know his polling goes up every time he's indicted.
Yeah, so he's indicted. It was around Easter, I want to say,
Yeah,
and his
yeah.
polling has gone up. And DeSantis's has gone down as he's made his foray into actual the public and not just Florida. So I think we're kind of proving out exactly what we expected. And meanwhile,
Yeah.
yeah, all these other lanes are just too small. The evangelical right lane that Pence is in, I mean, the voters that he has to win over to join him are the voters who were trying to murder him. Like,
Yeah.
why is he even running for president? They wanted to hang you and kill you. They blame you for Trump not being president, even though they still believe he is president. I don't even know if they still believe that. It's hard to tell. But
Totally.
yeah, I mean, and no one's doing anything. I mean, Pence at 5% is the closest to DeSantis. Haley 4.5%. I don't even know who that is, to be honest. Is that the North Dakota? No.
He's yeah, he's like the multimillionaire Vivek Ramaswamy. He's I mean, I think he's just kind of like he's like a, Andrew Yang for like the right sort of like I've got ideas and I've got good ideas and that I'm sort of like it's sort of like a technocratic thing, right? Like
Wow.
put me in there, except that he's also a right winger. He has right politics. But he's going to leverage his, business school experience or whatever to run the country like a business, and we'll all be in better shape. So I think I think we could get him on this show if we wanted to. Honestly, like I feel like he does any media appearance that anyone asks him to do. That seems to be the thrust of his campaign so far. Is like I'll go anywhere, I'll talk to anyone. So
We should
That'd
not
be
have
cool.
him on our show unless we have a really great bit planned for it because
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not interested.
We could have
Uh,
him try to like make prank calls with us or something like
oh,
that.
that would be fun. That would be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't
But yeah,
see any of these. I don't see any of these Republicans doing any damage yet. I mean, especially since they're ceding the ground to Trump on his indictment,
yeah.
which is wild.